Okay.
This is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew about prejudice against the Jews. Again, I couldn't understand it. But it was horrible. I was really appalled by all this prejudice and things like that. And I would always, in fact, it was prejudice. Now that I come to think of it, it was about the Jews, because I remember what Hitler had done. And I think today, it's disguised. This is 1991 now, the verse of 19. I think it's disguised now. I never realized there was prejudice against women. I mean, oh my God. And it just never dawned on me. I'm probably more educated I should have been, and at least let's admit where the truth lies. And now it's a lot better, but it's nowhere near equal. And so here again, I'm not into. I'm into understanding, compassion, and love, and honesty and purity, rather than a quota for 15 women in one place and 10 men and 1 black and 2. I'm not into that. I'm into all people are all okay. And
were there any riots or anything that you remember? Or?
No, just the riots I caused. And there were a few of those, but there were no riots per se that I remember.
Now, when you moved to California, what areas did you live in?
I lived down in the Silver Lake area first. Mm-hmm. When I moved to California, then I went up into Reseda, and then Tarzana, and after Tarzana, all over.
Wow.
I was 20. I think I was 20. I think it was 1960, 31 years ago. 31 from 58. That's how old I was when I got here. 27? No, 29.
The reason I was asking about a lot of these issues is I was wondering, because you've seen them change over the years. I mean, even like abortion. I mean, you remember when it was illegal and when it was changed to being legal, and now it's a big controversy again, and all these different different things.
Girls get abortions, and a lot of them got so very sick, and I mean, it was just a horrible thing.
Do you remember there being a lot of controversy when it was made legal?
No, I don't. But sure it was.
Just that I think around 73.
Yeah, I was. But I think my mind was there at that time. You got to remember that in 1969 I was pretty much zonked out with alcohol. So it took a few years for me to get back in the mainstream of life. So it was hard for me to think again. That's why on the day that the astronauts
landed on the moon.
Yeah, on the moon. That was the day I got sober. I don't even remember. I didn't know it until 20 years later, until 2 years ago when my birthday was on the 21st of July. And so he says it's the 20th anniversary of the first man on the moon. Oh, yeah, I was into that, talking about the astronaut, about John Glenn and about the bravery and all that stuff. And what was the saddest day in my life? When those, I think 4 or 5 years ago, when those astronauts blew up, the 5 of them, and we didn't even know their names. Didn't even know their names. I mean, my God, these people grew up in that, and we didn't even know their names. And it made me saddened me deeply. I wrote a letter to the president. Said that that's the president that we should give each one the Medal of Honor, each the highest honor our country can give, and anyone that ever goes up should be given that. But we've gotten so sophisticated that we didn't even know their names when they died. We knew the woman, the teacher, the school teacher.
Kristen McCullough.
Yeah. My God.
Yeah, that's the only one that I remember hearing about.
Isn't that something? Mm-hmm. And of course, it's a little bit before your time, but...
I remember it. I believe I was in junior high, and I remember it coming on the TV.
Right?
I think I was 13 or 14.
Okay, so remember that? Yeah. Oh, my God, January it was.
I remember.
So you remember, but we don't remember anybody. We remember the woman.
Mm-hmm. That's because she was a school teacher and she wasn't an astronaut. She wasn't an astronaut. Not an astronaut,
yeah. And so that saddened me. Sad day.
Take for granted.
Right. Take for granted these things. I remember, polio was a big was a big thing when I was a kid. And then, of course, Salk vaccine came in and wiped polio out.
I mean, how was, like, I know there were a lot of childhood diseases,
yeah.
you know. So how
polio was the biggest. It was horrible. I mean, when the summer came and August came, you were afraid you were going to get polio all the time. And it was you know, just that way. So it was then I think it was 1959, maybe 50, maybe 60, when the first polio vaccine became Salk did it. And then it wiped out polio, which was a dreaded thing for kids and for grown-ups too.
Did you ever have chickenpox or measles when?
Yeah, I know. And whooping cough, yeah. I remember whooping cough.
I know chickenpox was my worst experience.
Chickenpox? Terrible. You get them all over the mouth and terrible. And but I remember the whooping cough that I had bad. But there was. I remember that with the polio, and of course didn't know too much about cancer and things like that, but it was around. But you know, now it's so prevalent. Now it's unbelievable, and I still think it's what we eat. I think, but all the stuff that they grow bigger watermelons, and they got to do something to that watermelon seed to make it grow bigger. I don't know. Something's happening. So anyway, these are reflecting back now on some of the things. And my God, it's a horrible situation. It's going on in our world today, in our society. And I tell you the truth, Wendy. We've created a world here, and it's not pleasant. I mean, we have problems, and like I said to you earlier in this thing, it's up to the youth to see the problems. It's up to you. I can keep telling you we got problems, but until you realize we got some problems, man, we ain't gonna do nothing. All those kids in your school, take a vote. Do you kids believe we got problems today?
Yeah.
You should take a vote. It'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
Where are you? Where are we? And that's what trying to make somebody think. Because I mean, if the movement doesn't make the situation change, then we're all doomed. Because I predict by the year 2010, by the year 2025, you'll have to get from one place to another. You'll have to have a oxygen mask to carry with you all the time. I know it sounds ridiculous, you see, because our air will no more longer be breathable. The water you drink will totally have to be never coming from any place around here. It'll all have to be purified, bottled and all that stuff. And there will be no more animals, even in the zoos. And what's an animal in a zoo? How tragic a story that is. I mean, to go around to kill these beautiful specimens of life. So anyway, the animals we're losing, the air that we're breathing we're losing, the forests, the rainforests. It's all by. It's going and it's gone. The ozone layer, the holes in our atmosphere. I mean, these are major things, and nobody gives it any. I mean, these weren't around when I was a kid. We didn't worry about dying from our own stuff. The fish are gone from the oceans. The marine life. I mean, you can't eat clams on the beaches because they're all poison. These are issues. My God. Anyway, I mean to get in that tangent, but from a difference from when I was a kid to now, I mean, we're talking about a major problem. We had an atomic bomb, but we got more than an atomic bomb today. We got our whole destruction of our planet, and we worry about atomic plants. They parade with their signs out there on atomic plants. We're losing the Earth. We won't have any Earth to put atomic power into anyway. This is true. I'm telling straight. So it's nobody wants to do anything about curbing the populations. Everybody, wants to have the baby, which I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying don't have it, but let's put our heads together. Let's begin to curb it. Let's begin to stop the tremendous population growth. They do it with cats. It's okay to kill off 50,000 cats. They do it with deer. They make them sterilized or whatever. They curb it. We can do all these things, but when it comes to humans, let's have as many.
They do that in Japan. I believe you're only allowed to have
Japan, China too. China too.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, China too. China was way overpopulated. So now they just said, please help us. What can I do for country? What can I do for my world today? Well, I cannot propagate the human race by 15 or by 10 kids or 5 kids. You have a lot of slack on that, but you got a lot of slack on abortion too, right? And then power of choice, right? You got to slack on everything. And there'll always be a problem there'll always be those for and those against. But when somebody's out in the deep ocean and can't swim, they're drowning. You won't have any problem with that person. Did you know that? You reach out your hand to that person. They don't care whether you're a Catholic, a Jew, a Protestant, a black or white or Chinese. They'll say, "Help me," and they'll grab the whole. And that same person on land will be castigating everything in the world. Put them in a little ticklish situation and you change their viewpoint real quick. Get somebody that's hungry, they'll say, well, okay, it's okay to feed the people now because I'm here. But so these are issues. Anyway.
I know the other day we sort of ended. We were talking about your acting career.
Yeah. No, I think
that's where we sort of ended.
Yeah, well, my career was a long career. It was ups and downs, mostly downs, and I never made it. I went back to school after I got sober, and I went back to school. About 15 years later. This is about 10 years ago, to regroup, so to speak, and I got really good again, the way I was when I was a young actor, and did a piece of work, and I got a Broadway play out of it.
Which one was this?
On the waterfront. But it never came off. That sort of broke my heart as far as acting goes. And I did several shows after that, but it just never was to be anymore. And I really don't have any interest in it anymore. And also, I quit at the top. And nobody knows me. And nobody particularly cares, naturally, because they don't know you. So. But the day that I did that play was my best performance I'll ever do in my lifetime. And it was good enough to get a Broadway play on a one-shot deal and move an audience the way that was moved. That's a tremendous situation. I wasn't reading for anything. I was just doing it. And, like I said, I think a lot of my talent was lost through drinking and never came back. That's my viewpoint.
So is that why your career ended the first time?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh, and then I had a tremendous amount of fear. Oh, yeah. So it was... That lasted with me for so long. Another 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Still probably would... Just couldn't cut it anymore. For a guy that was as free as I was, now it would be different, because now I don't care anymore. But...
So is it your choice, or just... others noticed what was going on?
I think back in those days, I got dissipated looking, and I couldn't learn lines. I couldn't, back in 1968, 67. When you wind up in the studio, like I told you, not knowing what show you're on, you're in trouble. So, I just think that I had chances, and, a lot of chances. It wasn't to be. I had chances, and I didn't blow them. I just maybe didn't get the part because somebody else knew somebody better than he knew me. So I never had that opportunity to stretch my talent. But I believe now it just was not meant to be. I believe that. I don't think it had anything to do with what I had to do.
So then after you stopped acting, then what did you do?
Well, I mean, do you want to get into that now, or you don't care?
If
or
you
what?
want, we can speak in.
All right, yeah, because that's going to get me into. I should probably give you wanted some little stories. I should get you. I should get you a little stories. Anyway. It was probably in the 80s, early 80s, and after this Broadway play, I just realized that, I was not going to get it, and so I started searching, for what else to do. I did so many things trying to be an actor, and I just never could really make it, and so I was just floundering around really in Los Angeles, aimlessly, not knowing where or what to do. So anyway, probably about 1986, I really got despondent. I just didn't know where things were, and all the the things that we go through and in life, the trials and tribulations, so to speak, and I just terminated everything here in California, in Southern California, and going to get in my truck and go to parts unknown, meet people I didn't know in places I haven't been. And so that's what I proceeded to do. It took several months, and that's how I came about to getting into what I'm doing now, serving food to people. And I think it was out of despair, out of I see so much. I see so many problems. I see so many ruts in the road, and I just didn't know which rut I should begin to help, because I think I just right now ardently aware, ardently, yes, and I'm passionately concerned about our world and about our peoples and about our, and I'm not satisfied with, and I'll probably get no place, but I'm not satisfied with just talking about things. I just want, let's do something. Let's not talk about the dirt on the streets. Let's go out there and pick them up. I'm not interested in demonstrations. I'm interested in doing it. If we don't want any more dirty streets, let's go demonstrate. Let's go out there and demonstrate with bags and gloves and go pick up all the trash. Wow, let's clean it up. That's a demonstration. Instead of demonstrating with signs, let's demonstrate with bags. And that's what I'm into. I'm into that kind of area, those kind of areas, because I think that's the same with learning in school. I mean, it's like, sooner or later you got to do it. You can't get across the street unless you walk across the street or run or however you want to get, but you can't get to one place without moving. You can read all the books you want on the left-hand side of the street, but you ain't going to get to the other side of the street until you walk across the street. It's just that simple. I think that's where I am, or that's where I was. Probably never go any further than that either. I'll probably be, because I'm tired now, I'll probably end up, I'd like to write, but I don't know what I can't get the formulations of writing this together yet in my head. But, we're growing at such a rapid rate. Things are changing so quickly. By the time you graduate college, it's obsolete. And everybody wants money. Money. And, I mean, it's explosions. You go to the movie theater, you always try to look for the Pepper Tree movie house, so it's cheap, right? $1. Two people can get in the movie for $1. And I buy the popcorn and the other stuff, and it's another $5. But money. And, it's what the whole world is the incentive of, and just sort of got to stop and do things. And women, you know, another thing. I want to join the women's movement right now. You know, I think that women have been trespassed on. I think men or the opposite sex, whatever you want to say, are great culprits of that. And they're culprits of that by the way they look at a woman. They're culprits of that by the way they act in front of women. They're culprits of that by the way they talk to women. And I just, you know, realized all this stuff. And Jesus, I just, we're so far behind. It's pathetic. So these are issues, and the only way it's going to be done is by the young kids saying, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. No, it's not the way it's going to be done. And both men and women, you're going to join forces to go with the path of. You know, everybody seeks the truth. Everybody wants the truth. Oh, what did so and so say about you? What really did he say? What does he think about me? Does he like me? You always want to know the truth. You don't want to say, lie to me. You know, everybody wants, well, let's know the truth about our issues, of life itself, nations. Everybody lies. And that's another thing. You know, everybody lies. Countries lie. Presidents lie. God, somebody's got to stand up and say, let us, now we're going to just talk to. They ought to have a class in school. CSUN. UCLA, Stanford, I don't care where you are, in honesty. What's the matter with that? Honesty 201. You know, I mean, right? And then we got this other class called Purity 362. But it's full, so I got to take Purity 2, which is a little lesser than, but we'll take it. Purity of thought. And then we'll have this other class on unselfishness. That's 3 credit course. That's all we talk about is unselfishness. You never talk about yourself. Whoa, how about that? This is what I'm doing right now. You know, I'm talking about myself, see? But, I mean, I don't like to talk about myself. But in this particular thing, you got to. But you know what I'm talking about? Purity, 301. Unselfishness, 562. Where'd you go? God, did you get that course that on love? Did you get that course on love? Love 422, I think it's 422, I think. And understanding and compassion. Where are those teachings from? You gotta lay that on your ma and pa. That's bullshit too. Oh, excuse me, that's bullshit too. God, your mother and father, Christ, how much can we lay on those parents? Where's the schools if we're going to send them to school? They're always worrying about the goddamn computer. Punch in understanding. Jesus, yeah. I like Carol because she's so understanding. I like Ray because he's so understanding. God, isn't that nice to be that? But they don't want to learn that. They'll teach you how to make money. Teach you how to be greedy. Teach you, well, if you go to this course and take this course, you'll be able to be the best person in the job for the job and get a $35,000 a year starting salary. That's all you hear. That's all you hear. And until it changes around, everybody's going to be getting. We ain't going to have any more pepper trees to go to the movies with. Movies are $7.50 a shot down at the. To go on a date with a girl, with a woman, a young woman, is the movies is $7.50. That's $15 to get in. Hiya, sweetheart. That's $15. Popcorn. You want some popcorn? Yeah, that's another $5. You want some Coke? Sure, that's another $4. Now I just spent $25 or maybe $30, and I haven't even held my hand in my date that night yet. You see what I mean? Yeah. And it's got to stop because that's what it is this year. Can you imagine when you're 40? $200 to go to the movies. You see, but you know when I went to the finest hotel, it was a National Hotel. Somebody took me to Cuba. It was $9 a day at the National Hotel. $9 a day to the finest hotel in Cuba. It was $9 a day or $10 a day in New York City's finest hotel. $99 a day. Now it's $200 a day, maybe more. So what's wrong with 20 years from now? It's going to be $5,000 a day for a hotel room. And there are some hotel rooms that are $5,000. You see what I mean? And you're going to school to learn how to make more money to pay for all these bills. That's what you're doing. Because if you don't have any education, you can't get a job. You can't get a job, you're going to be a nothing. You're going to have to be with me. Oh my God. This is...
Okay.
Right here. Where's the mic?
It's right over here. We can hear you. It picks it up pretty well.
You want it that way?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Ooh.
There we go. I'll just hold it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it picks it up pretty good. Good enough.
all right, good enough. Go.
Okay. Okay, well, I thought maybe today, if you want to talk about, if you like, you can talk a little bit about Frontline and how that all got started.
I'll talk about anything you want to talk about.
Okay.
If you want to talk about Frontline today, that's cool.
Okay. Because that's pretty much, like a really important thing going on right now.
Right now.
In your life.
Right now. And I said the developments, the lead-ups to Frontline are actually due to my past, but not because I had this, anything bad happen to me. It's just that the development. I think it was that caring. It was that hole in my gut and that's what I see on the streets. Anyway, the story goes like this. I had been helping a lot of people that were involved with drugs and stuff throughout an 18-year period, 17-year period. And as hospitals began to come in, and less there was for a guy like me that liked to work with people on the streets and alcoholics and drug users. So I became, so to speak, in a sense, obsolete. I wasn't going to sit in a room full of people and tell them how well I am or how sick I was, or just play a game. And I just wasn't. I'm not a game player. So anyway, so along about 1986, I knew this. There was a feeling coming over me that I thought I was finished really in life, really, basically, and so I decided to sever all ties here in Los Angeles and go someplace, I don't know where, parts unknown, and just settle down and dwindle away, so to speak. And I really thought that was my destiny. I had done a lot of work with people, helping people, etc., etc., and it was just no more to be, and I wasn't going to get paid for any of this stuff, and so I knew I couldn't go get a job someplace getting paid for helping these people that I would do for free anyway. So I started to sever all relationships here, and I got down to just the basics. I got down to almost nothing. Got down to just me, a truck, and a few bucks in my pocket, and I took off. It took about 6 or 7 months to get rid of everything here. I'm going over there to get rid of everything here, and get to a point where we're still on, and get to a point where we could just leave without having any ties here. So I did. I got in my truck, and I had been down on Skid Row the year before, 1965, 66, somewhere in there. I mean, 1986. Oh boy, 86. And I also was on years ago on many a Skid Row uptown. So it was a familiar place to me. But back in 1986, I was trying to search out what to do. I wanted to go back to the basics. I wanted to go back to the beginning. I wanted to. It was just horrible what was going on in our society. I said, what's life all about? So I went back to the bottom, because because I figured, well, if you're starting to go to the top, you've got to go to the bottom before you can get to the top again. So that's basically what I did. So I went downtown, and I stayed downtown on different occasions. This is prior to my trip. And, just contemplating in my mind, do I come down here and help these people? And what do I do? And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I just didn't know, and the answer didn't come. And so, after numerous trips downtown, I decided to I was embarking on this trip. And so basically I took off for parts unknown, no place to go, no one to see, no one with me, alone. And I had to be alone. Had to be alone and not happy. Because I was able to really clear out my mind, my soul, whatever one wants to call it, to get the true perspective of where it was for me in life to be and to go on my next journey, if it was to be. So it wasn't a pleasant trip. It wasn't isn't this a nice day? I'm grateful I'm alive and all that. It wasn't that kind of a trip. It was the seeking out. What do I do? Where do I go? Am I done? Should I finish life on this trip, or is this what it's all about? And these were the questions that were going on in my mind. And as I was driving, and I kept driving. And this is over a period of several months. 3 or 4, 5 months traveling around, not knowing where and what, waking up and eating out of the back of I was living out of the back of my truck, and it was just an unpleasant time. And so every day I'd say, oh my God, what have I done? Where am I going? What am I going to say? And it was just, so all of a sudden it dawned on me, a feeling came over me, like, go back to Los Angeles. And I don't want to go back to Los Angeles. And that was the first constructive thought I had of doing something, was to come back to Los Angeles. And I did not want to come back to Los Angeles. And so I kept driving further north. The further north the feeling kept getting a little more prevalent, and finally I said, gee, that's a strange feeling to have. I just left Los Angeles. Why do I have to go back there? Why can't it be another town, someplace else, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I sort of rebelled against the thought, and finally I consented, in my mind, to go just as far as outside of LA, Thousand Oaks or someplace like that, and then I would go no further, and that would be it. And so my destiny would be fulfilled, and everybody's happy. But as I got closer to Los Angeles, it was revealed to me in some awkward sense, that I want you back downtown. I want you to go downtown. Now, I really didn't want to come to Los Angeles, because I don't want to go downtown and help the people. I said, oh man, that's the last thing in my life I wanted to do. I wish I could say I was so loving and wonderful, I got the idea, but that's not the way it was. I did not want to go downtown. Now I really revolted. And so now I started crossing. As I was coming back down, I started crisscrossing the state, thinking, well, something else will come in my mind, and I won't have to go back down to LA, and I'm not going to go do anything downtown Los Angeles. And so that's basically was the mode of this situation, of the way I was doing it. And what happened? So I started, and as I got close, I parked outside of Thousand Oaks, right? Thousand Oaks, California. And I said, this is as far as I'm going. And as fate would have it, no, that wasn't as far as I was going. I then commenced to go into Los Angeles. And this took us several weeks. And the first inception was to go downtown and to feed some people. A one-trip deal, a two-trip deal max, a minor league thing. Nothing to the degree of saying, oh, let's make a plan here. There was no plan. It was just a one-time deal. And that was it, basically. And so I went into this church where
I used to know the people there. And I sat in the church and asked the secretary, I said, the possibility I could use the kitchen on Saturday. And she said, what for? And I said, well, I got to feed some people. And she said, well, where are you going to feed them? And I said, down on Skid Row. So she reached in the desk and she handed me the keys to the kitchen. And I went downtown, and the morning before, it was pouring rain. I remember it was Friday night, it was pouring rain. Oh, I was so depressed. And I was sleeping in the back of my truck at that time. And anyway, 3 o'clock in the morning, I went into the kitchen, opened it up, and we had some peanut butter there that I was going to make the sandwiches with. And
so did you do this by yourself this time?
No. Oh, yeah, I did. It was all by myself, yeah. But that morning, I got a couple of guys that were coming with me, and I didn't go downtown by myself. But, yeah, I made all the sandwiches by myself. Made the coffee, made the sandwiches, did everything. And I had 111 of them all lined up. I was all excited. And I told the guys, I said, they didn't have to come if they didn't want to, but they said, it's okay, I'll come. We went over to Solly's, had a little bite to eat, and 9 o'clock, I said, well, let's go downtown. We went downtown, and sure enough, like this avalanche of people came at me, and we passed out the 100 and some odd sandwiches, and I said, wow, I knew I was right. I knew I was on the right track. And so that was the beginning. Now, many people, you see, the thing is, many people begin, and that's not the trick. That's not the miracle. And that wasn't, sure. The miracle is for the next it'll be 4 years. This is November 1991, and in another 3 weeks, it'll be 4 years. And in another 3 weeks, we would have surpassed 240,000 meals served. Now that's the miracle. That it wasn't just 100 sandwiches or 500 sandwiches or 1,000 or 2,000, because everybody does it. So it's really not that's not the energy that what it's all about. And then what transpired, I knew I had to have love, I knew I had to have understanding, and I knew I had to have compassion, because this is what it was all about downtown. And so this is what I generated the whole thing on. My instincts knew I must love and care for the people of Skid Row, because this is the bottom of the barrel. And that's what I've done for the period of 4 years. And that's how it started. And that's how you want to know how it started. And in the next weeks that ensued, which was really the start, people began to come in, and that's when your cousin came in. She came in, we were 8 weeks old, and she started helping, and she's been helping ever since too. And we've done a job on Skid Row, and we had the answer to hunger in that area. There's hunger lines, and we have the answer to hunger in any Skid Row town. And so that's the humble beginning, and everything has grown since then. We can get into another area. You want to hear?
Sure.
How we grow. Does this smell good?
Very good.
Huh?
Very good.
That's a little meatball. Anyway, so from that juncture, it just began to grow, and I just kept going down and down and down, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the food kept coming in, no money, and it didn't make any difference. We just kept feeding people, and then people began
doing? We're talking about what stemmed from everything that started. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
In other words, what?
Like what came about from, from Frontline, and I mean it's a really big part of your life, right? Over the last 4 years.
Right. The basic thing that stemmed from it is that we found a way to combat hunger in these desperate areas of our cities, of Skid Row, and that's what's.
So do you feel like maybe this is what you were meant to do all your life? I mean...
No, I feel as though, I believe everybody has a turn. You have a turn right now. It's your turn to do whatever it is you're doing in life. And whether that be going to school, whatever it is, you have a turn at something. I have a turn at serving food to humanity. And it's my turn. Now, in 2 years from now, it may not be my turn anymore. You understand what I'm saying? It'll be somebody else's turn.
Right.
So that's basically what it is. I think it's just a turn. Everybody has a turn at something. They have a turn at marriage, they have a turn at love. And it's my turn to feed people. You want to be a lawyer, you have a turn at being a lawyer. You want to be a doctor, you have a turn at being a doctor.
Just our luck they're mowing the lawns or whatever. The noise blowers. Here, wait, I'll just wait a second.
So, anyway, the fight was to give love and dignity to these fallen human beings of our society. I think I've done that. And Frontline represents that. And,
so how does it feel to have started something like this?
Like I said, I told you earlier, it's almost like I had to do it. I didn't have a choice. You gonna eat that? And I take no credit for this. All I did was follow my instincts. The instincts were given to me, and 240,000 meals were served. I believe the formula developed by a tremendous core of people. Noreen Goldner, who probably single-handedly developed an area where we get food that's awesome, involving people. So I get thousands of cans of food due to her ingenuity. The development downtown, she was very instrumental in that. So it's not me, it's people. People that cared, people that spent wakeless days and nights trying to figure out ways how to do things better downtown in this horrible area. So the people that we're surrounded with are just vital people that are able to have the same kind of ideas along the same kind of philosophies to end hunger. So these people were there, and this is awesome. You want to flip that over? I'm going to turn this on. Anyway, okay, go ahead. Anyway, so I think it's the effort of the people that made this thing possible, and now the whole system that's developed, it works, so that it just works. Volunteers, old people, young people, babies, all coming in to help, and this is awesome. This is what's awesome. I mean, when you see volunteers that are in their 70s and 80s coming over to help, you say, "Oh my God!" So it wasn't just a thing to be for me or downtown. It was a thing to be an organization built on love, an organization that encompasses so many people, so many people. I mean, look at you. It encompasses you. It encompasses the people that will read your beautiful. You read an article a couple of years ago that was beautiful, a little paper, and now you're doing this. So it encompasses the people that will hear about this. Yeah, let's help humanity. Let's help people. And that's what this is all about. It's a simple format to have people involved to help other people. And everybody, you're part of it. You, Wendy, are part of it. And so it's your efforts now, and so on down the line. Then who knows who hears this and says, hey, I want to help this situation. And colleges help, sororities help as well, you know. All these things help. And, you know, I can't begin to tell you that. So when it says in other words, it's not me orchestrating this thing. So it's something a little bit bigger, a little bit better than me to do this thing. So that's what's exciting.
Okay.
We ready?
Yeah. Had to flip the tape over. So
I think that's what.
Do you feel there was anything that like influenced this throughout your life?
The only influenced me?
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't want this statement to be misconstrued. I have no religious affiliation whatsoever, but I do believe with my heart that I'm being guided by something bigger than me. You want to call it God, you want to call it Buddha, you want to call it anything you want, Jehovah, you want to call it anything you want to call it. It's really irrelevant to me. I was not capable of serving food to 240,000 human beings without some kind of help from something a little bit bigger than me. So that's where all the credit goes. And I don't know how else to, how else, to put it. But that was it. That's it in a nutshell. Everything has been orchestrated for me. I mean, the food, I don't do a thing. It's already there for me. All I do is just follow. And that's all I've done is follow. And by following, it's done. It's like having a boss and he tells you what to do and the boss gets credit for it and you do the work. Well, he's got to get credit for it, not me. I'm just doing the work. So, does that make sense, Wendy?
Yeah, there aren't many people like you.
Well,
wish there were.
I wish I could say, oh yeah, I did it. I was just the instrument used to perform the work that had to be needed to accomplish what has been accomplished. To be able to walk the streets of the destitute and have those people say, hello, Ray, I love you. That truly is a miracle of mankind, I believe. I mean, that is uncompromised. That they care so much about me. It's not the sandwiches, it's not the food, it's the caring of one human being for another human being that's developed into a bunch of human beings caring for a lot of human beings. It makes sense if you take it apart. And so those are the areas of caring, the areas of compassion and understanding that have developed downtown in this horrible area. I don't suggest anybody to walk down there and say, oh yeah, I'm not going to be harmed down there. You're going to be harmed down there because we're dealing with the dregs of society. We're dealing with the sediments. Did I say that ever before? The sediment of society. Sediment of wine nobody wants. You won't drink a sediment of wine. It's the sediment of our society. Some people make it and some people don't make it in life. And these are the people that never will make it. They'll always be floundering around and swimming around the bottom, and every day their wishes, he said, maybe someday it'll change. Maybe someday I'll walk in the green grass again. Maybe someday I'll smell that home cooking of my mother. Maybe someday I'll be out of this rat race of horror every night, scared to wherever I'm going to make it one night or live or die. That's how it's lived down there. This is where I feel as though I walk with kings. My God. Where's there help needed except there? Not in Beverly Hills. They need help too, but they don't need it as bad as what's down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's my turn to pick up a little bit of slack, to give a little dignity to a few human beings. Put a hold on that?
No.
Oh. That was Wendy sneezing. We're dealing with God's kids. We're all God's kids, but down there, these are less fortunates. And the old cry, oh, they can get jobs if they want to. Who cares? God, if I see a fallen brother on the street, do I say, well, you can get a job if you want to, or do I help him? Do I give him water? Let me give you water if you're thirsty. That's all I'm doing. It was a big hot spell here a couple of weeks ago in Los Angeles. I went downtown with water to give to these people. Water! The city didn't give water, the mayors didn't give water, Beverly Hills didn't give water, Santa Monica didn't give water. Some doo-doo like me went downtown with a bucket of water, and you thought I'd given him $1 million. Thank you, Ray, for the water, water! How tragic our society has become when we can't even give our brothers a glass of water. You get me started on things like this, and you'll have a paper. But think about that. Water. Let me give water to the poor souls of life, and that's all I want to do. And in a non-literal sense, the water can be thought, the water can be love, the water can be compassion, the water can be understanding. And I feel very strongly about that. I do. And I'm not making any points in life. I'm down at the bottom. I have nothing. N-O-T-H, nothing. N-O-T-H, nothing. I-N-G. I never could spell good, but I think I spelled that right.
That's right.
And, so I have none. I'm not going to have anything. And yet, isn't it amazing that what I've got, nobody else has got? It's kind of funny. They could say, hey, Ray, get a job, too, right? Hey, Ray, make money. Hey, Ray, do this. Hey, Ray, do that. So I go do all those things, and 240,000 human beings, 240,000 meals wouldn't have been served if I started thinking about my own self. Isn't that interesting? You should have thought about yourself, Ray. Then 240,000 meals would, and water would not have been brought down 2 weeks ago when it was 104 down in downtown L.A. Because I would have been too busy in my own interests and my own jobs and my own thing, making my own money, paying my own bills. So that's what I believe. This is where I am today. It took all these years of all those hurts, all those broken promises, all those show business, all that stuff. It took all those nights and days, the tears, the aches, the pains, the broken bodies, the broken legs, and the ankles, and it took all of that to have me come to a point to say, I just want to give water to my fellow man. Jesus, what a statement. And I'm not doing anything. I wish I could say I'm doing something. I'm not doing that. Water. I just want to hold a human being's hand. That's all I want to do in life. Jesus, what a boring, set of circumstances I've turned out to be. See, from the glamour of where I was to standing in a room full of 3,000 people applauding me because I was so great in the performance. To getting a Broadway play. My God. Now all I want to do is give a little water to a few thirsty people on the streets of Skid Row. Jesus, what a development that is.
I was noticing on your wall some remarkable senior award.
Yeah.
What was that for?
Everybody laughed at me because you see I was over 55 and Noreen laughed at me. Oh, Ray's, and they all laughed, and they all laughed, and they all laughed, and they all laughed. But you know what prize I won? A 1-week trip on the ocean. For 2. So that was the senior award, Outstanding Seniors.
So what was that for?
For the work I'm doing. For the work I'm doing. Isn't that wild?
That's neat.
You like that?
Hey, you deserve more than that, but... said you deserve more than that, but I won't, knock down a one-man cruise. That's great.
Isn't that great, man? Wow. Wendy, if mankind, if our societies cared for our fellow man, we wouldn't be in such a straits. And that's why I'm doing such a small thing. But the idea is big. But if people cared for other people in a genuine way, our planet would be, our Earth, our planet Earth would be in such a beautiful state. Everybody seeks the truth. Everybody wants the truth. What's the truth about Watergate? What's the truth about Kennedy? What's the truth about the Contra affair? Everybody wants the truth, and everybody lies. Wake up in the morning, I'm going to lie today. Oh boy, let me lie today. It's horrible. Simple little things as truth versus lying. I mean, that's all it is. Just all people got to do is just twist that around, and we wouldn't have a problem. Isn't that amazing? All we got to do is not lie. We don't have any problems. If we didn't have lying, we don't have to have a judge. Think about it. The judicial system would go to pot. We wouldn't have to have lawyers, because two lawyers come in with two clients. One is telling the truth and the other's lying. And it's up to the judge to figure out which one is telling the truth and which one is lying. I mean, isn't that amazing? So we're just talking about lies versus truth. Then they nailed a guy on a cross, and they said, years ago, whether you believe it or not, it's irrelevant, but what was said was, the guy said, he said, seek the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. I didn't say that. It's a heavy statement. So it was good then, thousands of years ago, and it's still good now, and everybody's trying to seek the truth, and nobody gets it. What's really the truth about the Kennedys? What's really the truth about Marilyn Monroe? What's really the truth about Sirhan Sirhan? What's really the truth about who killed him? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And so everybody says, for years and years and years and years, they say, this is what happened, no, this is what happened, no, this is what happened, no, this is what happened. Everybody doesn't know what happened. There's so many what happened, nobody knows the truth. And it's only one thing they seek is the truth. And so that's honesty, purity, unselfishness.
So is that what you feel this whole
before?
Experience sort of...
Yes, that's what I believe now. I believe that it's culminated into an area of power for me within my own framework. Purity of thought, purity of understanding, not diluted with, I don't want to use the word bullshit, but it's as good as any, baloney. Purity. Direct eye contact with my fellow man. Purity of thought.
I remember you telling me that when you were growing up you didn't have really a lot of close friends. Do you find that now in your life you have a lot, maybe some more people that you can feel close to?
No, probably less. Well, first of all, I start talking like this, man. They're going to, people they're going to stand a little bit scansy because I'm not playing it safe when I talk with things like these. So I probably have less friends or less people that I don't trust. I have to say that I trust one entity, or it's God, if you want to say, and that's it.
It just seems like you're really close. Well, or there's some kind of a bond between you and some of the people that work with you, and.
No, it's not a bond. It's an awareness. I mean, we're okay. I'm okay. I don't distrust. But on the other hand, I don't know who's telling the truth either. I'm not in that business of deciding or judging who's telling. I'm not a judge. I'm not God. So I don't know who's telling the truth.
Has this whole experience brought anything else?
It's brought the impact of honesty to its finest degree. It's brought purity to its finest degree. It's brought unselfishness to the finest degree, and it's brought honesty to the finest degree. And I believe those are not. They're not my. I didn't think about those things. Oh, I think I'm going to put honesty together with purity. I didn't know. The words I saw, and they clicked. Click, click. And if I am honest, and if I am pure of thought, and if I have love in my heart for my fellow man, and if I'm unselfish, I've got 4 beautiful principles going for me. And if I do not rationalize, compromise, or justify those principles, I'm going to be okay. And if it's okay for me, it should be okay for a few other people too. I'm not the only one that's cuckoo, so to speak. No, it's true. No, but I mean, I believe these things. I believe in these concepts, and honesty is a big one. Love, just love for the purity of loving, give for the purity of giving, and asking nothing in return. Oh my God. Be an example. What he is speaks. Did I say that to you before? I probably repeated it. Doesn't make any difference. What he is speaks so loud I cannot hear a word he says. By an example. Did I say that to you on another tape?
You might have.
Okay. Well, wow. What a statement. What he is speaks so loud I cannot hear a word. I don't want to hear words. I just want to hear. I want to see what you do, how you walk, and then I may follow you. Wow. That's heavy.
Do you think if different circumstances had happened throughout your life that you'd still probably be doing this?
No, I think that it all fit.
It was all meant.
That's why I say it's my
to be,
turn,
kinda,
right?
Yeah.
It was saying, "This is your turn. Now I'm going to set you up. I'm going to structure you. I'm going to clean you out. I'm going to blah blah. I'm going to do. Now it is your turn to go do this. After this, I might retire you. You see, but right now, it's my turn. My understanding runs deep. I don't know too much about a lot of things, but I have an understanding. And I don't know where the understanding comes from, and I don't question it. Things come out of my mouth that I don't know where they come from, but I say, wow, that's kind of good, you know?
Have people that you've met or places you've been, I mean, do you feel that, has any of them been real influential in...
You know, I was asked that question, it's weird that you asked that question. I was asked that question, influential or like a mentor or like I was asked that question on the radio. Now this is...
I didn't know.
No, I know you didn't know. I know, but it's weird because I gave the answer that I gave, what was instrumental or... influential to me was pain. And that's not the answer that's normal, you see. Was the pain of my life. And that became influential. That was what was influential. I understand what the giants, I understand how they think. I understand. You say, well, I don't know how they got to where they got, and I'm not where they're at. And I never will be. I never will be where a Martin Luther King is, or a Mother Teresa, or a Tom Dooley, who was a beautiful doctor that died in Laos many years ago with leprosy because he went in and took care of the lepers. And you know, I was a kid when I saw it. I was about 19 or 20, and I saw, this is one minute about Tom Dooley. And I saw that man, and he stood there, and he was a doctor, and he said, I gave up my practice to went to this little town called Laos. And I helped the lepers. And that was an impact on me. I said, wow.
What a great feeling to have.
Yeah. I said, man went into lepers. And he died of leprosy. He was 38 years old, Tom Dooley, a doctor. Beautiful story. So I'm not a Tom Dooley. I'm not any of these people. I just serve a little food and I do a little something. Very meaningless. But I do something. That's the whole trick. I'm doing something. At least I'm not doing something. For the correction or for the aiding in humanity, for the help of my fellow man. Because that's where we've lost the battle in our life. That's where we've lost our humaneness. The peoples of the countries, we've lost humaneness is lost. And that's the truth. And I'll go to the grave saying that, but history will prove me out in the next century. We've lost it. We've lost it because people don't care. Just get up in the morning and get on the freeway or go to work and see how many thousands of people are all just like bees. And they're all going and doing something to get something. I want to get there first. If there's a little hole there, I got there first.
It's true.
I mean, this is it. Nobody cares. Oh, the people say have a nice day, but they're back in their car thinking about themselves. And so this is what I've come to go against. Geez, for once in my life, I just don't care about myself. I cared about myself when I was drinking and when I was using and when I was, for 36 years, I was only except when I was a little kid, crying. But even when I got to be able to go, I just worried about myself. And now it's, a different kind of a ball game. This is this is what I apply. This is what I'm able to put into practical application. I don't want anything. They don't even got to say my name. I mean, I'm that clean. That's why I don't receive any money for what I do. I do not receive any money for what I do because then nobody can manipulate me or say, try to pull a string on me. No. And if I quit and I wrap it up right today, the worst that somebody can say was that man is a bad man. He only served 240,000 meals on Skid Row. He's a bad man. That's all they can say about me. Isn't that tragic?
I don't think they'd ever say that.
No, I know, but that's all they could say about me. And so, I grow, everybody grows. I learn from you, Wendy. I learn from Noreen. I learn from your uncle. I love your uncle and Nan. I love your mom and father, rather, and Lynette and your family, your beautiful family. I learn from everybody. I gotta learn because I don't have any education. So I gotta learn. See, it's up to you to teach me.
See, I would never know.
Huh?
I would never know.
No, but this is true. This is a truism. Paradoxically, truisms. A guy asked me the other day, God, man, how do you get over loneliness? I said, you must embrace loneliness to its nth degree in order to get over loneliness. Holy Jesus. That's how I have to do. I have to embrace the loneliness so that I become unlonely. I have to learn from my teachers in order for me to learn because I don't have anything.
So have you found that that's helped? Have you found that that's helped? I mean, have you found that you've started to...
That's how I've been taught. I've been taught by the yous of the world. I haven't been taught by a book because I can't read. And I don't have time. I haven't got the time to sit and indulge myself in a book. Because there's somebody that's dying out in the streets. A good friend of mine, I found out last night, died. A guy crashed him in the head and he died last night. Now, the man loved me. 45 years old, street urchin. He loved me. Now he's dead. Not dead quite 24 hours. And whether it had to be or whether it didn't have to be, it's irrelevant. But I rocked this man in my arms, and he was so filthy dirty. I held him in my arms, and I hugged him many times. He said, Ray, I love you. And now he's dead. I got the memory. That's mankind. I took time out of my busy life to put my arms around a filthy human being that was dirty of clothes and dirt of the street, not of the soul. And he's dead now. I never got to say goodbye to him. So I hurt a little bit. I'm a little bit sadder for. But isn't it amazing I'm able to feel that kind of feeling? And I don't say better him than me, because I would rather me than him. Isn't that terrible? But that's, people would say, well, how are you going to help somebody else? I've helped all the people I can help right to this moment. I'm even. I don't got any more people in the future to help. Now I may if I live long enough. But I'm done. I'm done every day. People say, wow. People say, well, you better take care of yourself because a lot of people you got to take care of. No. They're already taken care of. They're done. I'm done. My job is done. So I don't have to think, oh, God, I better take care of myself. Me. Sing that song, do, re, mi. It's that's a scale. Do, re, mi. So those are the important things. Those are the important things for me. Those are the important things of life. They're not just me. Those are things I happen to, fortunately, latch on to. Grab a hold of. I see you should go to school to unlearn. Oh, boy, we're going to get into this here. That's what you should do. You should have a class in school. Do you have a class in school where you say, well, we're going to go and hear and empty out. We're going to unlearn everything we've learned so that you can put knowledge back into your head again. They don't do that. They just keep cramming into your head. Read this book, read that book, read this book, read that book, read this book. Learn about this, learn about that. I say unlearn. Unlearn and let the spirit of the soul come into your soul. One constructive thought of giving to your fellow man, and your head will explode with knowledge. Oh, Jesus Christ! But, I mean, it's true. Your head will explode. That's all I do. I learned how to give. There's an old expression that all takers are losers. And I know, because I was a loser, I was a taker of things and people. And I learned how to give for the purity of giving and asking nothing in return, so I became a winner. And that's all it is. I emptied out all that stuff in my head, put it on the table and said, I blew it. And it went away. That's how insignificant it was. I could blow every thought in my head and go, and it blew all away. Gee, not one thing stayed. I had worthless stuff in my head. All these ideologies, silly things. And all I put in is care. Am I talking too much?
No, not at all. Do you remember, like, any stories of people and things that have happened when you've been there that have, like, made you say, you know, I'm glad that this is what I'm doing, or you know, this made it, you know, this made me feel so great for being here today to
I feel that way every time.
Every time?
Wendy. I feel that way every time. Yeah, that's a very profound question, but I feel that way every time. I feel, yeah, I'm glad I made the trip. I'm glad I'm where I am. I never would have known it. I never would have felt it. All the time, I feel.
Were there any significant things you can think?
There really isn't anything significant. I mean, I feel, you know, there's an old play one time. There was a play called The Hasty Heart. We're doing good, aren't we? Hasty. Well, you're gonna have a lot of stuff to write. And I had this guy that I was talking to, and and he wrote the Hasty Heart. I don't know who wrote the Hasty Heart, but there was a line in the Hasty Heart. The Hasty Heart was about a guy that was going to die, named Lucky, and he was a very austere gentleman, and he was going to die. He was in the hospital, and all of his friends gave him a big party in the hospital. And he was so stern, he accepted the presents, you know, but I won't do it. He was Scottish. He said, I won't do it. And he gave everybody a hard time, even when they gave him the presents. And so the next scene arose, and there was one of the nurses, and she said, Lucky, why were you so mean? Why were you so... You never told us how you felt. And he said, Sister, which is what they call the nurses there, I feel as though I've shared a moment with kings. And that, in essence, is how I feel. I feel as though I've shared a moment with kings when I walk among the destitute, so to speak. When they touch me, when they love me, when they care about me. I see no color. You know, they're black, most of them. I see no color. I see no sexes. I don't see any of these things. They're not in my head. I see no prejudice. I have no prejudice. So I'm fortunate to be able to have those people look at me with such love that every moment I feel like a king. And so to single one out, I think would be degrading all the episodes now. Yes, true, my first year, I could single out a multitude of things. And I could probably single out a lot of them. But which one? Which one? Which one do I single out? Which person do I say, hey, you were better than the other one, when they all were great? I love you, Ray, they say. Which love is deeper or which love is not? They're all the same. So, you know, there's different stories.
How did you get the name Frontline?
I came from a beat-back black in the streets of Skid Row. He says, this is the front line where everybody's fighting and shoving and pushing and throwing knives and all. You know how it is down there. You've been down there with me, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, this is really the front line. So this guy Fred got the name, and he said, Ray, how about front line? He said, it was a good name. Front line, on the front line of life, on the front line of society. You know, so.
Yeah, I never knew that. That's
good. Close that off 1 second. Well,
okay, we can just talk about what childhood memories most stick out in your mind.
Memories.
Take a few minutes and...
That's a
about
song. Is that a song?
No.
I was talking to Noreen the other day, and I said regrets. I said regrets.
Oh,
I had
that's
a few, but oh, too few to. She laughed. Memories where? That was how? Why? What?
Okay, well, like, maybe, like when you learned to ride a bike, or any, like, activity, like, I know you, we talked about that, you played football, maybe, like, what other things you did, and...
I not only, when I got to be 14 or 13, 14, I could excel in anything. I mean anything. In the winter, you put a pair of skates on me, I was an ice skater. I mean good.
Did they have ice hockey then, or no?
Oh, yeah.
They did? Did you play that?
Oh, yeah.
I guess played hockey.
I mean, and jump barrels, and in the middle of the night, and toboggan, and
So that's right, because it snowed where you grew up.
yeah, 26 inches a day.
Wow.
You know, so, and in the summertime, I played softball, baseball, basketball, horseshoes. I excelled in anything that had to do with the body and sports. I was gifted, and I could do everything. Roller skate, and everything was a competition. I always had to be good at it, so to speak. Not the best, but good at it. I always wanted to compete, even though I got beat. Wrestling, boxing. When I got older, it was basketball, football, and track. I could run very fast. So I had all these abilities. Bicycle, I don't remember my first bicycle ride, but I remember my first bicycle cost me $3. I was making a left-hand turn in front of a bus, and I got hit by a car. And that $3 bike was all I had. And I remember I cried, not because I got hit, but because I wanted that bicycle back. And I used to work for everything I get when I was a youngster. I used to set pins in the bowling alleys at 13 years old for 8 cents a line. Jump alleys, where I'd make $8 a day, and wow, it's really big time.
Doing what?
$8 a day. Jumping alleys,
What's
in the bowling
that?
alleys. You know how you've ever been to a bowling alley?
Yeah.
Well, now you see them. They're all the thing
Electronic,
comes
you used to
down.
have to run back and forth and set them up.
They were human beings back there. Not. I remember when they were human beings that used to set pins instead of those automatic things. And I was a pin setter. There used to be old men used to pin set, and I was a kid pin setting. And I worked on a farm for $2 for $4 a day.
Were there a lot of farms where you lived? I mean,
Yeah, there were everything. Everything was open. It was a big problem that they have today that they didn't have back in 1945, or even 40 or 41, 43. That was the war years. But even after that, in 40, was people. We've propagated our Earth billionfold. I don't know. We ought to have a book on knowing how to get pregnant. That they get a man and a woman together and they have babies. I think that's nobody wants to address this serious problem, but that's another area. Whoa! But when I was a kid, these are all the things. We had space. There was clean air. We didn't have these major problems that is here today. With just simple things like breathing our air. I could breathe my own air back in
Did you live on a farm? I mean, was it?
Yeah, I did. They put me on a farm when I was about 7 or 8. When you saw some pictures there, I didn't see those pictures. There must have been another batch of.
It looked like the houses were kind of like farms.
Well, there was one there where I was holding a chicken, but I don't think that's there.
No.
But yeah, I was on a farm. You know what I did on a farm? We had outhouses. You know what an outhouse is?
Bathroom.
Yeah, bathroom on the outside.
Saw it on Little House on the Prairie.
and in the morning, they didn't have any bathrooms. I mean, I remember these things. I used to feed the chickens, get up in the morning, feed the chickens, then I had to empty out the bowls of the pee-pee which I hated, bring that to the outhouse, which smelt beyond kind. It's still horrible. And then I had to go bring in 4 cows and they had to be milked. I didn't milk them. I didn't know how to milk them, and then I would work in the garden pulling weeds. This big garden, and then I'd in the morning and a shower once a week. Not a shower, a bath once a week, and on a Saturday in a big tub with the two other kids, and another lonely time for me, another hard time. But I just worked for my board and room, but little because I was only a little kid. I did little things, like I said. I couldn't saddle up the horses and you know, in wintertime I'd have my little routes where I'd shovel snow for 50 cents for the sidewalks. And
did you guys used to build snowmen and?
Yeah, I've done all that. Yeah, built snowmen, built snow forts, built igloo. Tried to get them like the China, like the up north, the Eskimos. But I never could. And but built beautiful big forts and a lot of snow, and when spring would come and it'd melt away, and another year would go by. And another thing too, yeah, and I remember when I was 13 years old, I was living with my grandmother, and I said, God, I wish I was 19. And one of the few recollections of my mother at that particular time, she said, don't waste your time away. The time will go by very rapidly in your life. And you'll wake up one day and you'll be way past 19. I'm 58 now, Wendy. How true she was. Another episode of time, too. I remember I was in the Marine Corps in Paris Island. Did I tell you that story about the time?
Mm-hmm.
I did?
You told me that you were in the Marine Corps.
Oh, but I tell you about about time, the time. That's why I always never wish my time away. I was going quick enough now. But I was in the Marine Corps, and boy, it was tough down there in Paris Island, and it was 11:45 in 1954, and I looked at the clock. I mean, it was hell, like I said, and I said the one thing that they can't do, they mean the Marine Corps can't do, is stop the clock. If I put enough seconds in, if the second hand goes around enough times, I'll get out of here. And I did get out of there. That was 1954. This is 1991. So it's a lot of hands going around, a second at a time. And that's the way life is. You know, you wake up one day, you're 15, the next day you're 20, and you say, oh my God. And then 30 and 40 and on out, you know. And so time, and I'm one of the lucky ones as far as time goes. You know, I've had my ups and downs, but I never would classify myself as you know, too heavy a load. That's all. I had my load, like everybody's got their load to carry in life, and so. But as a kid, I excelled in most sports. And if I didn't know how to do it, I learned quick. I could learn a sport in one time out. I learned anything, just whatever it took. I would learn it, and if I didn't make it was what it was. I just had that ability. Badminton, tennis. I don't like those sports, but I can play them. I mean, I played them.
Did you have any, like, animals? I mean, like dogs
no,
or
never did.
cats growing up? I was looking, because
Yeah,
I
I
saw
know.
this picture of the dog. That wasn't yours.
I have a dog. That's Sheila. That's my Aunt Babe. That's when I lived with my aunt at one time. God. Can't believe it's me. Yeah. I had, I don't remember those. That's a first, or confirmation or something. Or, yeah, confirmation. Me and Knickers. Did you see me over there?
Yeah.
That picture?
Mm-hmm.
I was younger than you. I was 16 there.
Wow.
This picture. The one recollection is that dog. See, that dog over there was named Ben, and Excuse me, I'll tell you a little story about Ben. Ben belonged to my son. The first dog I ever had. But that dog taught me so much. Remember I tell you about learning? Well, that dog, I know it's going to sound crazy, taught me so much about intuitiveness and so much about feeling in the animal kingdom. But I was able to transmit that energy into me learning about how, these instincts go. And so I got him, and he was 10 years old, and he was unable to walk, was almost dying. My son, it was just hard. He didn't give him a good, just left him. And so anyway, I took him, and I first thing I did was bring him to the vet, and this is a beautiful story. And that night before I brought him into the vet, he was just so disheveled, just so broken, just so horrified with everything. And it was pouring rain, and I sat in the back of the truck, and I went into Wendy's. No, not Wendy's. Carl's Jr. on Lancashire Boulevard, and got us 4 hamburgers. And I got in the back of the truck, the same truck I got now. And he was lying down there, just looking at me, and so dejected, so sad. And I got these hamburgers. Now I needed a dog like I needed a hole in the head. And I looked at him, and I gave him the hamburger, and I ate one. We both ate the hamburgers together, and he didn't do anything. He just looked at me, and I was looking at him, and I started to cry. And I started to see me in him. And I started to see him saying to me, "Please help me. Please take me." The same as when I was a little kid and my grandfather, what I was saying to him. And so, so I looked at him, and I said, "Nobody's going to take him." I get some pictures. So I kept him. And I'll show you the picture. And so I brought him into the hospital and got him fixed, and I began to care for him. And we lived together for 3.5 years, and as he got his hips were hurt, and he was a very volatile animal. He was not pleasant to be around, and I mean, because he was disturbed and all this. So, and I tried to make his life as best as I possibly could. But in the course of this, I had to give him an injection every day, and I ramped him up. My truck made a ramp, and I really cared for this animal. I mean, I was not besides everything else I was doing. But we became very, almost like an intuitiveness between us. And I used to try to communicate. I know it sounds silly, but that's what I used to do. I'm so eager to learn, Wendy. And so I figured, well, why can't I learn from an animal? And he was a 120-pound animal. It's not like I'm talking about some little, that's the size of him. He was like a wolf, really. And he was friends with no one except me. And nobody could get near me, nobody could get near him. It was one of those things. But as he got older, I was almost protecting him from his own elements. But when we would be together, I would try with my mind and my feelings and my energy, really energy. I think that's what you call almost to transmit through him, from me to him, and allow that to circle back. And on several different occasions, it would happen. This energy transmitting about, and only about the animal kingdom. Do you feel? How do you feel? How do you sense? Do you really know what's going on? I mean, I would inject those kind of questions. And and we would it would almost be like we could communicate in some senses on some level, and he taught me a great deal about love. He taught me a great deal about love, about the depth of it. He taught me a great deal about allegiance. He taught me a great deal about caring. He taught me a great deal about intuitiveness of thought of people, and even more than I already know. Taught me, about strength, and about power, and about wills and things like that, advancing me into another area for me. And I could. He had a big mouth, a lot of teeth in his mouth, and I used to just feel, the teeth, and knowing where they bit, and knowing what they'd done, And because he'd been lost for 6 or 8 weeks on the streets, or who knows who he had to fight and what he had to do, and he was anyway. But the thing was that that's the first dog I ever had, the last dog I ever had. But it was a learning process for me, a deep learning process for me, to be able to feel the other side of something that I've never been able to feel before, and not in a dog relationship, I'm the master. I never gave him any command. I mean, he was commandless. There was nothing. He did what he wanted to do, when he wanted to do it, and how he wanted to do it. I would never give him a command. And yet he'd be in my truck or wherever it was. If he didn't want to leave, he could stay there. I never left him because of his lameness. If he wanted to come with me, he was able to come with me. I put him in the car. And I laid with him the last night that he died. But there was that. There was definitely a communion there, and a communion of the animal kingdom for me. And I had a dream. This is a couple of years ago. This table was made for him, in memory of him. It was the last table when he was alive. And I had a dream, and the dream was a long tunnel. And at the end of the tunnel, there was a tremendous white light. I mean, it was really white. And there he was, alive, and, so I knew he was okay.
It's a great experience to have an animal.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
I had a cat. So
And I wanted to die, too, that day. I mean, I